In this class, we're going to explore examples of contemporary community practice, especially in regards to understanding communities and identifying, assessing problems, and designing appropriate community interventions. Remember, as always, our purpose ultimately is intervention for community change to promote social justice. Assessment of the community, like assessment of the individual client, is the first step in the process. Again, as in work with individuals, in order to design a possible solution, one must understand the problem. The assessment will increase our understanding, help us get our bearings, perhaps give us credibility in the community, and give us a basis for planning our intervention. There are 4 steps in community assessment, in most models of community assessment. The first is to define what the boundaries are of the community. The second is to identify the community's assets. The third is to identify the factors that influence the community behavior. And finally, the factors that would influence the achievement of our goals, the goals of our intervention. One of the things we will talk about is a force field analysis, and that will help you to understand the above list a little better. We'll talk about it in a minute. In order to successfully approach assessment, we should be certain to engage the community itself. Look for its strengths as well as its challenges and weaknesses. Listen to all and try to garner the support of community leaders. 2 important factors to consider. 1, social capital. What are the social networks and how do they benefit the community? The more, the better. And second, the social infrastructure, the institutions that are supportive to the residents of the community or members of the community. So we must assess the community to determine if a problem exists in the first place. First, it's important to understand that we, in order to be effective, we need to understand the community. Here are several approaches to assessment. The first is a fieldwork study. The second, a community power structure study, a basic community analysis, and a problem and services study. Why is it important to understand the community? Let me just reiterate. It provides us with knowledge, it provides us with credibility, and it provides us with versatility. It will give us options in planning our interventions. By performing one of the assessments that I described above, we'll gain that understanding. Sociologists and anthropologists often use the field study method, in which they try to immerse themselves in the life of the community. The Middletown study, which you will read about, has been conducted 4 times, 1929, 37, the period between 1976 and 1981, and finally at the beginning of the 2000s. These kind of field studies serve to highlight the values and the ways of the community life. They allow the practitioner, the assessor, to function within the community without being irrelevant or condescending because they're part of the community. And they recognize how the group or problem they're working on fits in the whole theme of the community. A community power structure study identifies those community members who have influence. Studies can be based on reputations, positions that are held, or by looking at events and determining the players that influence those events. Once we've documented the community life and determined that a problem exists, The next step is to plan a response. I like the model proposed by Ann Jeffries, which includes size up the extent of the change that's needed, determine whether the resources exist in the community to respond effectively, and to determine where resistance or support will come from. That's where a force field analysis can be helpful. It's a method that determines the driving and the restraining forces that are present in any proposed solution. When using this tool, one needs to develop a standard set of forces that may impact the problem, establish a measurement scale for each of those forces. Here's an example. There's a problem of homelessness in the community. And one of the solutions is to build a new apartment building in the downtown area. A standard set of forces might include the number of influential people in favor of the solution, the cost of the solution, zoning ordinances. I'll give these different items a scale of measurement of 1 to 5, 1 being very weak and 5 being very strong. The downward, when one thinks about a force field analysis, one thinks about a horizontal line. And the restraining forces push down on that line to keep it from happening. And the forces in favor push up. Now, the downward forces might be the zoning ordinances that say there can't be apartment buildings in that area. The upward area might be the people in support. And depending upon the weight of that will determine whether or not you move forward with building your apartment building. Thank you.